And yeah, I just want to welcome Robert from the SoCal team to the Future Lounge. Robert, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the project.
Yeah, my name is Robert. I am the CTO and one of the founders of the company. A little bit of background on me. I've been in crypto for about 3 to 4 years. Started kind of just like most people do, investing in the coins everyone's heard about. Then dug a little bit deeper, started getting into the launch pads, investing in pre-sales. I've been doing a lot of that over the last couple of years. And I have a couple friends actually who are core team members. The other founder, Daniel, my other buddy Tim. We're actually all really good friends in real life. We kind of put our heads together and figured out, hey, we can do this on our own. We've seen a lot of other projects that we even liked just make a lot of mistakes that we felt that we could probably do better. So we started doing some R&D. Spent a couple months, doing all the due diligence on what we would need to do to actually make that a reality. And here we are today.
Fantastic. Well, a great introduction into yourself, and obviously how you came together with some of the team members there. I really want to jump into a lot of it because I know you guys have got a lot of utilities to offer and definitely stuff to dive into. But with
Yeah,
those who aren't familiar with the SoCal token, do you just want to give a brief introduction into what it is and what benefits it will be providing its investors?
absolutely. So basically, SoCal token, what we wanted to capture, and I believe we're actually the first region-based token who's focusing on a region as their token, kind of branding, I guess you would say. The first thing that we're really focusing on is a play to earn surfing game. And we really thought with the whole SoCal vibe, we're doing it in like a old school retro vibe. We're going to be doing a 16-bit video game. It's going to be a surfing game. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the older like Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, the TC Surf. It's going to have a really cool retro feel like that. And we felt that kind of that resonates with Southern California. Everyone knows Southern California all over the world. The beach, the palm trees, the sports that they have out here. So we felt that just with that particular branding, we have the potential to reach a lot of people that are not only in crypto, but to bring a lot of new people into crypto. And that's a lot of our goal, is to bring in new people, to educate people, to share this amazing space with people that are not a part of it yet. And we feel that the direction that we're going in is going to help us accomplish that.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure all the listeners here are tired of me saying it, but it's a big point I bring in during the projects. Is I want to invest and get involved with projects that are outward facing, mostly bringing more people into crypto. Like we said, yeah, it's such a small percentage. It's something like 1 to 3% of people in crypto, even less so
Exactly.
in L2. So it's really important that we expand the user base. We bring more people in, and yeah, we keep the volume pumping, which would be amazing. And a big hurdle of that is
Hmm.
education. And when you start in crypto, specifically L2 crypto, it can be very intimidating. The amount of scams and rug pulls, honeypots that go on in BSC, not being
Hmm.
aware of the space and the risks that are involved. It can be very intimidating for a lot of people. So I think education is going to be such a big part of incorporating and onboarding so many more people. So yeah, I'm really glad to hear it's something that you guys are really focusing on. Fantastic. Well, let's get a bit into the backstory of SoCal, because I know you touched on a couple months ago of R&D, but when did this idea kind of come together? When did the team come together? And when did you start developing your core idea, which is this play to earn game?
So it's been kind of an ongoing, evolving project that's kind of taken on a life of itself. As I stated, Daniel, Tim, and I first are the ones who kind of put our heads together around it. And we've built from there. We have two other core members who are local that we know personally that are they're actually accountants in real life. They're certified CPAs. We have two other core members who are well known in the space: Crypto Jesus, Neil Frickin' Diamond Hands, and Finn. Our developer is also amazing as well. He's been involved in a few other projects. Devin So we have a really solid team that's been around in the space for a while. They bring a wealth of knowledge in a bunch of different areas, and we've actually everyone complements each other very well. You know, the skill sets that each of us have really work well with one another. And honestly, things are coming together beautifully, man. I believe that this project's going to do amazing things.
Fantastic. Well, I definitely will want to jump into a bit more about the game development, as again, most people will know here, my whole specialization is games and game design, more specifically. So I love to get into the nitty gritty of it. And I know there isn't a lot of details out in your white paper right now, so I think best way we can get people excited is, to dive into it here, if you're all right doing that. So we've already touched on the fact that it's a retro style 16-bit surfing game. So, playing on that era, I think it, like you said, it suits your theme very well. But in terms of incorporation of the token and what benefits in terms of how investors will actually be earning in this game, can you go into a bit more detail about how those functions will work?
Yeah, I'll kind of give you an explanation on where we're at and what we're looking to develop in the game. So the way we
Fantastic.
want to set it up, it's gonna have a couple different, I guess, versions you can play in it. So when you come in it, our vision is you come to the main menu, right, and then we're gonna have a campaign mode. The campaign mode will kind of be like the story mode, your typical, levels that you play through in a video game.
Hmm.
You're going to be able to earn tokens in those. Obviously, there'll be kind of a storyline, which we're kind of keeping private at this point. We don't want to release yet, but we'll have that. You complete the levels, you face bosses, you're able to earn tokens as you play through those games. Then you get to the completion of the game, you beat it, you'll also receive a reward there. Another exciting thing that we think is going to be really cool is kind of like the battle mode that we're going to set up. It's going to be like a head-to-head, player-to-player version where you can go on there with your friends and say, you want to put, 5,000 SoCal tokens, and everything within the game is going to be the native token. It's going to be based on SoCal token, and you can actually, put up tokens to battle one another for those tokens. And there'll be different wave breaks that you can go through. It's not just going to be one simple like level with the same wave. We want to set up like a wave, somewhere in Australia and Tahiti and a lot of the awesome surf breaks around the world, Hawaii, that we want to incorporate into the game. So that's something that we're going to do. It'll have the head-to-head version. And another exciting thing that we're also going to offer is going to be kind of like a weekly and monthly like surfing competitions. There'll be like an entry fee that you would pay to enter those. We haven't, nailed down the exact numbers yet, but just for example, if you were to put in, the entry fee was, 100,000 SCT tokens to enter. And then it'll be kind of an accumulative pool. We'll add some tokens to that pool as well. And then the top three surfers who won that competition would take the prize money, kind of like how they do in real surfing competitions. So that's going to be another portion to the game. And we're also looking at setting up to where you're able to have your own skins. We're going to develop all those separately, hopefully as NFTs. So like you'll have interchangeable sunglasses, hats, surfboards,
Hmm.
tank tops, wetsuits, different board shorts you can wear, different tattoos. So there's going to be, and those will all be individual NFTs that you're able to purchase from our NFT marketplace. So will be integratable into the game. The
Fantastic.
NFTs will have some amazing utility in the game, but I'll kind of touch on that once we get to the NFT portion.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Are
definitely
are
we'll
you
jump.
are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can see that. It's perfect.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that we're sharing it with you guys.
Fantastic. And just to go into a bit more detail about the game, because that does sound exciting. I know a lot of people here, when they're first introduced to a game, in order to understand if they can really make money from it or they're really going to enjoy the experience, people don't want to initially commit the money without kind of trying it first. So will you offer either a demo version or a portion of the game that will be free to play for people to kind of get the experience on it before committing to purchasing tokens?
Oh,
Or
absolutely. The campaign mode and the story mode will be free to play. So there will be
fantastic.
no cost to enter that. Everyone that's a holder of SCT will be able to enter and play that game. And you'll still be able to earn tokens in that game, but there will be no cost associated with going in there. Obviously, if you wanted to purchase your own skins and things like that. But for someone, as you said, who just wanted to try out the game, they can hop right on there and start playing that campaign mode, go through the different levels and experience the game in that aspect without having to pay anything.
Okay, fantastic. And this might be a question that comes later when we touch on the NFTs, but in terms of core token holders, will they, so some, let's say holders who hold a large sum of your token or even just some of them, will they see any additional rewards or additional benefits when playing the game over those free-to-play users?
No, we want to set it up on an equal ground. We want everyone to be able to enjoy the game, whether you hold 1 billion tokens or whether you hold 10,000 tokens. We want it to be a level playing field for everybody. That way it doesn't discourage people from playing that may have less tokens. We want everyone to be able to enjoy this game, whether you're a small investor or whether you're a whale. The concept and the purpose of the game is to have fun. So we don't want anyone to feel discouraged with that based off their financial situation.
Okay, fantastic. And obviously jumping into it as well, I would love to know a bit more about the people behind the development of the game itself. So can you touch on, who you've got developing the game, how long they've been at work on it, and if they have any relevant experience within the games industry?
We actually are just finalizing the deals on that to get our developers working on that. We're hoping to have a demo version out within a couple of weeks from launch. Since you're familiar with games, I'm sure you know that timelines on that kind of stuff is really hard to pinpoint. And one of the things that's important to us is always fulfilling our promises, always keeping our words. So we don't ever want to promise the community things like, hey, we're going to have this on this date and then not be able to deliver. What I can tell you is that as we go through the development, now that we're ramping that up, as soon as we get past launch, there will be continual updates. Basically, our plan, the way that we're going to roll it out, is we plan to roll out the demo first. Then once the demo's out, we plan to have a beta version out that we can engage the community in, utilize them for beta testing. And then as the beta version is released, which probably will not have wallet connectivity, that's when we'll look to be releasing kind of more of the final version that has the wallet connectivity and everything with that. And then we'll be releasing the Play Store and the App Store games. As you might know, App Store kind of makes you jump through quite a few more hoops, especially because we're looking at incorporating like a social aspect in it. We're actually able to type and communicate with one another in there. And when you do that, the App Store has a whole lot more regulations that you have to implement for safety-wise for kids to be able to have that social aspect in there. So we're looking at getting all that stuff developed. We'll probably have a more relevant time frame within the next week or two. And as I said, as we receive that information, we'll be holding AMAs constantly in our group. We actually keep our VC open 24/7. It always stays open. Anyone has any questions, they're always welcome to come into our group in Telegram. Daniel, myself, other core members, our mods, there's always someone in that voice chat there to answer questions. And if it's something they don't know, they can relay the questions to us. And basically, we're an open book. We're all about honesty and transparency. That's been so many problems for us that we've had in other projects. And that's something that we want to always deliver to our community.
Fantastic to hear. And so in terms of the actual game development, then essentially you guys are in like the ideation stage. You've come up with the game design, the core mechanics, what you want implemented, but actually having the technical development issued, you're coming into a final deal with a team, and then hopefully they'll be able to produce a demo version in a few weeks or a couple of weeks from launch, depending on how much time they need. Like you said, game development, even for a 16-bit game, does take some time, finding unique art style, finding sound.
We actually have one of the guys who is our amazing NFT designer, Neil frickin' Diamond Hands. He actually does in-game sound, so he will be doing the in-game sound for us. Awesome. He actually created the concept art for the pixel art for the game, which I can share with you guys as well here before the end of the AMA. So we do have that. We do have a lot of stuff complete. We have the game scope fully complete. Now we're ready to hit the ground running. It was just really getting past launch, and as soon as that happens, we're going to dig 100% into the game and full steam ahead on that.
Fantastic. And obviously, devil's advocate here, we know a lot of BSC investors have a short attention span. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the space. And a lot of them expect to have utility delivered upon launch. So my question for you is, what other aspects, what other utilities will you be able to offer those investors that are looking for the immediate rather than what's to come in the future?
So we actually have an amazing and unique staking protocol that we're going to be releasing. Upon launch, we're going to have a fully functional, finished, complete DApp and NFT marketplace. So I'll kind of jump into the staking first, and then we'll go back to the NFTs, and then we can kind of go over the ecosystem. Let me just scroll down here. So for our staking, we're going to launch our staking the day after launch. So pre-sale is tomorrow at 1 p.m. PST. That is going to sell out in seconds. So an hour after that, at about 2 p.m., we're going to be going live on PancakeSwap. And the following day, June 20th, we will launch the staking in our DApp. Now, we came up with kind of a really unique and cool staking protocol that really incentivizes our early investors to lock their tokens. So the first 500 people that stake are going to have two options. They're going to have a 30-day lock period or a 60-day lock period. The 30-day lock period is going to give 150% APY. The 60-day lock will offer a 300% APY on that. Now, the next 750 people will receive the same options, 30 and 60-day lock, but the APYs will be 100 for 30 days and 150 for 60 days. The next 1,000 people after that will be able to have 75% APY and 100% APY for 60 days. The final staking that we're going to offer is going to be a 50% APY for a 30-day lock, and we're going to keep that in place until we reach 100 million market cap, at which point we're going to reevaluate, obviously, what's healthy for the project percentage-wise, and all that will be discussed openly with the community once we are nearing that milestone.
Fantastic. So obviously, great to see that you guys are offering initial utility that helps people who understand obviously the long-term vision of it and what you guys are trying to accomplish, commit their tokens and earn some additional ones while they wait for obviously the game to be developed and what's really going to bring in. We expect a lot of outward facing marketing in terms of a more outward audience that would come in specifically for the game as well. Awesome.
Exactly.
I don't
now,
know.
The first 2 months getting through is the critical part. That's the make or break. If the project can make it through that first 2 months, they're going to be successful and they're going to be around. So we have some things in place to help us with that. We think that staking will really help with that. Just to kind of go into a little bit more detail on the staking, the way that it will work is whatever tokens you stake in your pool, your native tokens that you're accumulating will be claimable at the end of the lock period. But the USDT rewards that you receive will be claimable at any time. We kind of didn't go over that yet, so I'll jump straight from there kind of into the tokenomics. The tokenomics for our project, it's going to be a 10% buy tax. Half of that and 5% is going to be going right back to the holders in the form of USDT rewards. 3% of that was going to go to marketing, and 2% of that is going to be locked directly into the liquidity. For the sell tax, we have a 12% sell tax. Again, 5% of that is going straight back to the holders in the form of USDT. 3% will go to marketing, 2% will go to liquidity, and 1%. This is our V1. Our V2 white paper will be updated when we release our new website before launch. We decided not to go with the buyback on that. It's just going to be a 1% burn. That is built into the contract. That 1% goes directly to the Binance Null wallet, which you can verify in our contract. So those will be taken out of the circulating supply immediately. And the last 1% goes to our charity wallet. We are actually in the process with our lawyers of setting up a nonprofit for beach cleanups. So we're going to be organizing events first locally here in Southern California, where we're going to be holding huge events. We're trying to get some local radio stations to come out and sponsor us. And we're going to be conducting, real fun events with barbecues, giveaways, promotional stuff. But the main point of that is that we're going to organize a big effort to go clean up the beaches, pick up trash off the beaches, give a little bit back to the community. And as we grow, we hope to be able to take these events worldwide. We want to be able to go to other countries and do these things as well, and give us an opportunity to kind of give back to the community and help.
Fantastic. And I think it's a very important initiative. We know, again, the amount of trash that goes into the ocean just from washes up on beaches is very impactful, not only in the US, but especially in kind of South America countries and Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So it would be great to see that, obviously, that charitable aspect expand. And obviously, with that would come marketing, exposure to a wider community who would then learn more about you guys and hopefully want to get involved as well. Awesome to hear. Well, let's jump.
Exactly.
I'm glad as well you've touched on the fact that it's USDT rewards. I think in the current market conditions, stable coins are going to be much preferred in terms of receiving reward back. And you mentioned as well, so if I went and staked, let's say I decided to stake my entire wallet, everything I've got, everything I bought in SoCal, and I put it in the staking pool, I would still be earning those USDT rewards, right?
You still earn USDT rewards, and not only do you earn them, but those are actually claimable at any period of your staking. So the native tokens
Fantastic.
that you're receiving, that you can only claim at the end of the lock period. But your USDT rewards, you're 100% free to claim whenever you want. If you want to claim them every day, if you want to claim them once a week, those are there for you to take advantage of whenever you want to.
Okay, fantastic. Well, the other key part of what's going to be available to us very early is obviously that NFT marketplace that you touched on. So do you want to go into a bit more detail about the marketplace and the NFTs that you're going to be offering?
Yeah. So for the NFTs, our first collection is going to be the first edition Neon Cali Kong NFTs. We're doing a collection of 1,400 of those that will be for sale. Those will be for sale on our marketplace. And the way we're doing it is kind of cool on that actually as well. It's going to be a mystery NFT purchase. So we have it set up as kind of a mystery vault, like a bank vault. You're going to go there within the D app in the NFT marketplace, and you're able to select how many NFTs you want to purchase. And you go in there, you select that, the transaction will go through, and then you will receive however many NFTs you purchased. You can do up to 20 per transaction. Once you receive those NFTs, you will be able to see them there in the marketplace. I'll move here to give you guys. So this is actually a sneak peek of our marketplace right here that we're working on. As you can see, we have kind of divided them into 3 categories based off of rarity score. And what we think is really cool also, on the rarity score, once you click on your NFT after you've purchased it, you can actually go in and see all the different characteristics. So it will give you a breakdown of why your rarity score is what it is. You know, how many different background colors are in there, how many different skins, the ears, the eyes, the sunglasses, the different boards. So it gives you a comprehensive explanation and breakdown of exactly why your score is the rarity that it is, which is really cool. And then within the NFT marketplace, once you buy them, as you can see, there's the mystery vault where you would purchase them. You'd be able to see your NFT wallet wherever you hold right here. And then the marketplace, the way that we've set it up is that you can actually buy and sell those amongst other holders. So say you get one that's really rare. You actually have the ability to post that for whatever you want. Everything is going to be in the native token of SoCal token. So the way that you purchase them is in BNB. And then when you sell them, you get to decide what you want to sell them for. We actually don't make anything off that. It's a peer-to-peer transaction. So say I purchased one and you wanted to buy it. I posted it for 5 million SCT. You like that price, you would go on there, you would hit buy, your transaction happens, they receive the SCT tokens, and you receive the NFT directly to your wallet.
Fantastic. And in terms of the initial season as well, what's going to be the total supply, and if for and what would be the mint price? And just in terms of the mint price itself, will you be conducting the initial mint in that mystery vault with BNB, or will it be your own native token?
We will be minting all the NFTs, so they will be minted when you receive them. You will not have to worry about that.
Okay, fantastic. And then in terms of how much each one will cost for the individual, for an investor, is it all in native tokens? Obviously, it will be circumstant. It will change depending on the value, or will it be a fixed BNB sum?
Are you talking about for the mystery purchase or for the NFT marketplace?
For the mystery purchase.
In the mystery purchase, we had initially set them at 0.2 BNB, which when BNB was about $400 was going to be $80. We're really looking at that, whether it's going to be 0.2 or 0.3 BNB on that. Even at 0.3, it's still going to be less than they were kind of calculated to be. So as it's set right now, we have it set at 0.2 BNB. I actually spoke with Daniel this morning about that. We're trying to come to a decision. We're gonna have a talk tonight and try and make a final decision on that. But it will either be 0.2 or 0.3 BNB per purchase. That will all be advertised through all of our channels. We'll make the community fully aware before that happens, and we're trying to get that decision made as soon as possible. It's just you do calculations based off things, and BNB was at $400 at that price, and it's basically half of where it's at. So we're trying. It's kind of changed some things with the market being where it's at.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. And in terms of the total supply, then how many of these can we expect in circulation?
There's 1,400 of them, and there will not be any more made in this collection. We actually have our designer working on the next collection, which will only be a 50 collection that we're doing on that. It's going to be a legendary collection. We're looking at doing like really cool San Diego backgrounds in the back, like the Coronado Bridge, the San Diego Bay Line, some historic places down here in Southern California. And we're actually looking at doing those with some 2D animation in them as well. So they're going to be amazing. Neil freaking Diamond Hands is a genius when it comes to art. He does amazing art and amazing sound. He'll be taking care of the sound in our game, and as you can see with these NFTs, man, he has some serious talent.
Fantastic. Well, in terms of when I look at obviously more specifically BSC NFTs, we know the crowd typically doesn't go off of just the PFP type that the ETH crowd is more acceptable with. For an NFT to be popular or gravitate a large audience, I think a lot of them need to have a bit of utility behind them. I think you mentioned they'd have some implementation in the game. Do you want to touch on the sort of benefits NFT holders will gain once they've obviously purchased and are holding some of your wonderful NFTs here?
Absolutely. So these utilities are going to have amazing capabilities within the game when you hold these NFTs. So you're going to get access to special skins, special surfboards, exclusive wave breaks. And when I say wave breaks, those will be like different locations. As I was saying, we're going to have, Jaws or Pipeline. There's going to be a lot of different wave breaks that you're able to surf. Now, if you're a holder of one of these NFTs, you're going to get access to special features like that in the game that other users will not have. You'll have, different surfboards that you can use. You'll have more surf breaks. When we do hold those competitions that have entry fees for the prizes to win, you'll be able to enter those contests without having to actually put in an entry fee. So you can take part in those contests without even having to pay and still have the ability to win the prize pool that's up for grabs. We're actually looking at implementing having, if you hold this NFT, for example, right here on screen, we're looking at having it programmed into the game where you can surf with that character. We're not 100% sure what that's going to look like. We're working with the designers on that, but that is something that we'd like to achieve as well. But you absolutely will have access to special skins, boards, and things that you would not have outside the game if you were not an NFT holder of this collection.
Fantastic. And will the additional capabilities scale with the rarity or the rarity score of the NFTs, or would it just be the case of you hold an NFT, you therefore have access to these benefits within the game?
That's a great question. So yes and no. You will still have access to the same functionalities and features. But let's say if you have one of the extremely rare NFTs, you might have access to skins that are a little bit more on the rarity scale. Like,
Mm.
like I said, so with the surfboards, if you have a common NFT, maybe you might have access to special common boards, where if you have an epic NFT, you're going to have access to epic surfboards. So there will be differences that you're going to have in the game that are going to be based off of the score of your NFT. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I think that a great way to again incentivize or attract, make add more value to those rare,
Exactly.
the rarer NFTs, give them a more attractive price point on the marketplace. Speaking of the
100%.
marketplace as well, it's fantastic. You've got your native one, and people are able to see. They can go through the characteristics, and like you said, you're able to display the rarity score. But will you guys also allow users to list these NFTs on secondary marketplaces, such as Tofu or Treasureland, allowing them to reach and onboard a wider NFT audience?
We've talked about that. As of right now, just at launch, it's no. And we've also talked about not only that, but bringing on different NFT artists to sell their collections on our marketplace. So that's something that we're definitely open to and looking into in the future. And one thing about us is we're always open to our community feedback. We're always in the chats. Like I said, our VC's open 24/7. So there's nothing that we're not willing to listen to or look at. And if we feel that it's best for the project, then hey, that's absolutely something that we could look at implementing down the road.
Okay, fantastic. And as well, we obviously know that the biggest NFT crowd, the token crowd is definitely here on Telegram, but we know that
Hmm.
the NFT crowd technically kind of dominates in Discord. And now, I did
Yeah,
try to access your Discord on your website, but I think the links expired. But can you touch on obviously, how popular you think the NFT crowd you've been able to develop, and how you're really going to attract more of those members into purchasing and utilizing these NFTs?
that's going to be our next push after launch. We're actually going through the phase right now of integrating. That was our temporary website. So now we're going to
Hmm.
be over the next day, we're going to be uploading our new website that's going to have the D app in the marketplace. So that could be why possibly one of the links on there isn't working. Still should be working, but that's my only guess. And why is because our devs are actually in the process of switching everything over so that we can get the D app, NFT marketplace, and everything up and running on there. But yeah, I fully agree with you. Discord is huge, especially for gaming. And since we're gaming
Hmm.
based, our next push once we get past launch and have our Telegram groups built up is going to be to really, really focus on our Discord and get that community built up.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely something to capitalize on, especially, the NFT gaming audience is definitely going to be
Hmm.
primarily residing in in those sorts of communities. So it'll be great to onboard that, and again, build up that social aspect. Touching
Yeah.
on that as well, I think it's really, really crucial for game developers in either in GameFi or outside of GameFi to really understand the audience they're trying to reach and their demographic. Can you touch on who you believe is going to be the main player base for your game, and the sort of people you're trying to onboard and bring into the crypto space with this game and NFTs, obviously?
That's kind of actually one of the cool parts about our game and our branding and our concept. Obviously, we know that the younger kids and the younger generation are usually the targeted audience for games, right? They're the ones who are predominant gamers. There are, a fair amount of adults that play. But with this retro vibe that we have, this 16-bit graphics, like that reaches out to so many more people. Like I'm going to be 39 this year. Like these were games that I played growing up. I feel that we're going to have a lot wider range of our target audience because of that fact. I
Mm.
mean, how cool would it be to play, one of these games on a new Xbox, on a new PlayStation, with a 16-bit graphic game? Like for me, that would be awesome, just because it's nostalgic for me. I grew up playing these games. It takes you back to your childhood. So I think that not only are we going to be able to reach out to the younger generation, I think that we're also going to be able to branch out to a lot of older people that used to play games that maybe don't play games anymore, and they may see this game and it triggers something in their head. Hey, I remember playing that. Man, that was cool. And just by that, it brings them into crypto. And again, that's one of our really big focusing points, is trying to bring new users into the crypto space. Um, I'll
Fantastic. Yeah.
show. I want to
Oh,
jump
yeah,
into
go ahead.
our ecosystem to kind of touch on that, but I want to show you these next couple sneak peeks real quick. So this is kind of how the staking pools are going to work. You can see the different pools, 1, 2, 3. This is where you go as you went in. And this is kind of the breakdown on what it will look like for your staking. So you go, you stake, it's going to show you what your APY is locked at, how many days left you have in your staking period. It will show you how many tokens you staked. You'll be able to actually monitor how many tokens you're accumulating throughout that staking period. And then down here, it will also show you your USDT rewards, and that you will be able to claim at any time.
Fantastic. And obviously that again is something that even the non-stakers, people just holding your token, will be able to utilize and claim the USDT rewards as well.
Yeah, it's passive income. You know, just while you're
Fantastic.
you're getting double passive income, really. I mean, because you're accumulating the native tokens while you're staking, as well as the USDT while you're holding it.
Okay, fantastic. But yeah,
Um,
obviously, I want to make sure we get enough time for community questions. But I would love for you to go over, like you mentioned, the ecosystem you've got for us.
so for the ecosystem, we're going to be actually offering crypto education classes. We do those weekly. We've already done 3 of them. So every Wednesday night, we host a crypto education class. Any holders are free to come and listen to that. We cover different topics every week. Once we kind of get through the basic foundations of it, what we've been talking about as a team is kind of organizing, polls through our community and topics that they may have questions on, things that they may want to learn, and then we can put together a class the following week on that. So I think that this is going to be something that's really important, not just bringing these new people to the crypto space, but actually educating them. Because like you were saying, how many people come into this space that are new and they get rugged, they get ripped off, they get scammed. And if your first experience in crypto is getting scammed or rugged, like what's the likelihood that you're going to continue in the space? That happens to so many people, and it turns them off and they leave the space, and we lose so many potential investors because of that, unfortunately, because of all that stuff that's going on. So we really want to work hard to not only bring the people to this space, but keep them here, educate them, make them smarter investors so that they're able to stay here long term. That's something that's really important to us.
Fantastic. And like I touched on obviously at the start, I think it's so crucial, bridging that skill gap, bridging that knowledge base. Because yeah, if you leave it to them learning and experience and trying to experience it all for themselves, again, you do face a massive fall off. So
Yeah,
also if you guys are the ones who are teaching them, they'll be more active within your own space, within your own community. And obviously, you're the guys who taught them. They're more likely to stick around with you guys and keep going as that stable coin, or that staple token that they associate their beginning of their journey within the BSC space with. So yeah, great to see you're already
exactly.
onboarding that. And yeah, I'd love to see how it develops, and yeah, what sort of additional kind of educational lessons or additional activities you guys will be coming up with later on. But I did notice as well, you've got a few other things that look to be trying to cater for people's kind of mental well-being and physical well-being as
Yeah,
well. Do you want to touch on those?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just another thing in Southern California, that laid back vibe. And that's that whole thing that we're going for. Another thing that we're going to be offering our users is going to be Magic Mini Sound Bath. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever done that. If they haven't, I highly recommend it. It's a very peaceful, almost spiritual experience. It's done through kind of like sound vibration meditation with crystal bowls. It's a certified instructor that's going to be doing those. We will be doing those once a week also for all holders. So Tuesday night will be the sound bath. Wednesday night will be the crypto class. And then Thursday night, we will also be offering Higher Vibes Yoga, which will be a yoga class that will be taught by a certified instructor as well. And those two things, you know, like you said, for your mental well-being, just for relaxation, for just for your overall well-being. I think a lot of these things are really important, and a lot of people are so busy they don't, you know, they focus so much time on work and everything else, they don't spend enough time just kind of resetting and taking care of themselves. So I think that these are very important components in someone's life for them to be at peace and be relaxed, and these types of things right here can help greatly. So we want to be able to offer those to our holders, and be a part of giving that to them.
Fantastic. I think it's great. You're definitely, bringing in a lot more people in terms of offering them unique. I don't want to call them utility because it's definitely more than that. But unique benefits that they typically wouldn't find elsewhere in a token, especially not a GameFi token. And like you said, the importance of that, hopefully allowing them to kind of, take a breather, relax, take a step back, de-stress. As we can imagine, it's been a very stressful week for most investors here. So it's great for you guys to be offering services like that, where people don't tend to can just stick to the office, stick to their computer screens, be in this like crypto cave, as I love to call it. And yeah, hopefully this will allow them to kind of reset a little, find some peace, find some measure or time allocated where they can just reset. And obviously the additional benefit for holding the token, which if they like the seminar, you may just find people who just become yoga nuts, enjoy like you said, the soundbar bath, and choose, you know what, I'm just going to hold, benefit from the staking, benefit from the USDT rewards, purely so I can keep attending these classes every day, every week even, and possibly be learning some things with the crypto classes as well. So yeah, great to see you
Absolutely.
guys are offering that side of it. Well, fantastic. Well, I do want to make sure, like I mentioned, we give enough time for the community to ask questions. So I'm just going to
Okay.
give my
There's
last round of
one
questions
more
here.
one more
Oh yeah,
huge
go ahead.
thing that I did want to touch on. Sorry. So I want to
Yeah,
let
go ahead.
everyone know too that we are able to officially announce SoCal Token LLC is an officially formed corporation here in the United States, in the state of Wyoming. So we actually have a certified registered public corporation here behind this company. I think that that just speaks a lot as to the vision of this project, the foresight that we have, and where we want to be. We don't want to be here for 2 weeks. We don't want to be a $50 million market cap company, 100 million market cap. We plan on taking this to $1 billion project. We are going to develop this. It's going to lead into a metaverse project called the Caliverse. We plan on focusing on everything that's action sports, surfing, skateboarding, snowboarding. I really want to let everyone know the vision that this team has, the dedication to the work behind it, and the foundation that we're laying through doing all these things. There's not a lot of companies that go through all the process, and the back end stuff that we're doing, and that's because most of them aren't around very long. We plan on being here for a very long time and continuing to deliver things for our community, for our investors, and it's going to be an amazing project. And this is one of those ones you don't want to get left behind on. You can go ahead, Sam.
Sorry, I started on a spiel and then I realized my mic was muted. I do apologize, but I was just saying, it's fantastic to see, with that LLC, it just adds that level of accountability and trust for the community to see, you are serious. You guys have that long-term goal, these long-term visions. That a lot of those initial projects that you said when they're starting off do lack. So yeah, great to see you guys taking those extra steps to make yourselves more accountable here. And to obviously touch on the team and the long-term vision, we can obviously expect you guys to be here for a long extended period of time. Do you mind just touching on how you guys are going to get how you guys are going to get paid from this? Because I think it's very important to know, how the team is sustaining themselves in order to continue working, especially when it's such an ambitious project like yourselves?
Absolutely. And it's very important to be transparent about those things so that the community knows everything that's going on with the money. I mean, as an investor myself, I feel that you have the right to know those things. And we encourage questions like that. We love answering them. And we have no problem, being completely transparent about everything. So our salaries are going to be paid out of the USDT from the other wallets. That's what we're going to be using. The majority of all of the taxes that come in for the marketing and the dev, that's all going to go into the game and marketing campaigns. So salaries are going to be paid strictly out of USDT.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, essentially there'll be those team wallets that you guys will hold. We can expect that
Correct.
you guys obviously aren't trying to dump or sell any of the tokens, so
Nope.
you'll just be able to accumulate, the USDT rewards, possibly even stake them yourselves, so you can obviously gain more SoCal tokens to then get further USDT rewards. Makes perfect sense.
Well,
But yeah, just
all team
alongside every
tokens,
investor.
all team
Yeah.
tokens are actually they're vested for 90 days. We thought it was important to not allow the team members to stake. Their tokens are actually locked.
Okay.
We
Fantastic.
want to give our community the ability to take those staking spots. I mean, obviously, we as core members have invested out of our personal wallets in the private sale. I will be participating in the pre-sale. Those tokens I will be staking, but as far as team token goes, none of those were allowed to be staked, and they are vested for 90 days.
Okay, fantastic. And something I didn't see on the metrics page was, can you touch on how, the percentage of supply the team will hold for those team tokens?
Team tokens is the 3% that you see vested there. So it's 3 billion
Oh, okay,
tokens.
vested. Okay, fantastic. Okay, great to see. A good amount. To be fair, I've seen some team tokens go as high as 10 to 15, which I think is ludicrous. So it's good to see you
I've seen
guys
it
have come up
higher
with a
than
good
that.
number.
Sometimes I look at these charts on Pink Sale and it's like team tokens 40%. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like, well, I know where I'm not putting my money, but yeah, no, fantastic.
No,
You
we
guys have
don't. We
definitely come
don't
through
plan on
reasonable on that.
selling. We plan on making all of our wallets public. That's another important thing. We're going to be
Mhm.
listing once we get past launch. All of the wallets will be listed publicly. You'll be able to see none of our tokens, none of our team tokens. As far as Daniel and I will be sold. We plan on holding those. Um, yeah, we're like I said, we're here for the long term, and we're here for the health of the project. So it just doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make any sense for us to be dumping huge amounts of tokens. And that's why
No,
we wanted to structure the salary out of the USDT so that we wouldn't be required to sell any tokens to take care of that stuff.
no, precisely. And yeah, again, great to see that you guys are really focusing on that transparency. Fantastic. Well, I've been very selfish with the time and taken up a lot of it with my own questions, which I do apologize for. But let's
No
jump into
problem.
some community questions. So to anybody who hasn't seen in chat, if you do have any questions for Robert and the SoCal team, please go ahead, type them in chat. Just tag my username at All for the Ice so I can see it, and we'll get some of these read out. Fantastic. Well, the first part I want to jump into is Emily's first question I can see here, which is obviously you guys are really focusing on the oceanic awareness, the cleaning up beach initiatives, and bringing in that that outward facing marketing, that outward facing audience that currently isn't in crypto. So she's a bit more curious about the type of outward facing marketing you're going to onboard to bring in that sort of crowd alongside those charity events that we talked about earlier.
So specifically in the charity aspect for the marketing.
I think more in general about just the outward facing marketing alongside the charity events. So, what else will you guys be doing to, bring in more of those people who aren't currently yet in crypto or L2 crypto?
Oh, got you. Okay. So yeah, I mean, one of the big things that we're doing is we're working with a huge radio station right now and finalizing a deal. Rock 105.3. They're actually part of the iHeartRadio family, who has a customer base of 150 million people. And we're trying to finalize a deal with them to do a podcast, as well as a live radio segment. And what we are working on doing is negotiating, and part of that deal is that they come out for our charity beach cleanups and kind of sponsor those. You know how they kind of do events where the radio stations will have one of their VJs out there doing live call-ins and check-ins that they do over the air. So that's something that we think will massively generate new crypto people, just people out at the beach. I mean, we're just going to be out at the beach, just having fun, having these big events, having DJs out there. Two of our core team members are DJs. We're looking at just having a really big party out there and cleaning up the beach. And, you have stuff like that going on, passing out flyers. People are going to be coming over trying to figure out what's going on. So we think that those events right there are really going to be crucial in touching new customer base that are not crypto users.
Fantastic. And I think that alongside obviously the educational seminars, be having access to, like we touched on, the yoga classes and the sound baths, I think it's going to be a great attraction for people to, maybe tip their fingers or their toes into the water that is crypto, starting with you guys, which would be great.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump into some more questions because I can see some great ones coming in. The next one is, we very, very shortly teased a bit about the Caliverse there, but Major Turner wants to know a bit more because I think you've captured his attention with that one. So can you go into a bit more information about the plans for the Caliverse and how soon can we expect developments like that to come along?
So we've set milestones, and I mean, obviously, depending on how quick you get to those, our target is around 150 to 250 million to start developing that project. But I mean, I've seen projects where it go nuts where you hit 100 million in a week. So that's something we kind of have to gauge as we go. That is our end goal, though. We want to develop the Caliverse, and that Caliverse is going to be. I mean, we kind of want to be like the X Games of the metaverse. We want to have all action sports. We want to do skateboarding. We want to do surfing. We want to do snowboarding. We want to have like a racetrack. We actually talked about one of that in one of our AMAs earlier this week that somebody brought up, like the racetrack there in Long Beach. There's really no limits to that. The metaverse is so new and it's such an untapped potential that we really, really, really want to get into that as soon as possible. And once we get SoCal off the ground and we get the game finished, that will basically be 100% focus off that, is getting the metaverse developed and started and just going from there.
Fantastic. Well, definitely a lot to look forward to. Like I said, me being the game nut, I think I'll definitely want you back. Once we've got the game out and we can talk a bit about that, but also then once Caliverse starts coming into development, we can possibly have another AMA specifically just to go into the details of that. That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. And that kind of touches on, the fact that you said, a lot of projects, a meme coin, or they have one game that they're going to release, and then the game's released, and then that's it. People get tired of the game, and then what happens? It's like we have huge plans, man. There's a lot of things that we have coming down on our roadmap. Like I said, we've laid the groundwork with the corporations, getting everything set up right. Like we have real accountants and a legal team advising and representing us. We're setting this company up now for the way that we want it to be when we are $1 billion company. And that's because we have the vision and the drive, because we believe and know that we are going to be that company. And it's very important to set those things up from the beginning, because if you don't, it's a nightmare to go back and try and do it later.
Yeah, no, precisely. Great to say, you're doing everything right from the start in terms of setting you guys up, building a strong foundation so you can go straight up to the top from there.
Exactly.
Fantastic to see. Well, let's jump into a few more questions while we have the time here. I've got another question from Hussein, and he excuse me. He wants to know a bit more about the DApp. So he was curious if you guys plan to implement a calculator or a speculation chart where, based on the daily volume and what's happening with the chart, they can have an understanding of the sort of USDT rewards they're receiving, and possibly the staking rewards they're receiving at a given time.
Well, the staking rewards will show. That's actually a really good point. We haven't looked at yet. I actually kind of like that idea, so I can type that into my notes here and talk to my dev about that, and that could definitely look to be an update that we can implement on our D app, where it kind of calculates that out for you guys. So I know I've seen other projects in D apps where it does that. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. So I will look into that. And like I said, we're all about open ideas from our community. Like we love hearing stuff like that and hearing great ideas. We're not, the type of project or people who are, it's all about our ego and we're going to
Hmm.
just do it our way or no way. Like if we hear a good idea and it makes sense, we're 100% for it. So I will definitely put that down in my notes and speak to my team and my devs about that, and we can look at possibly doing that.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, I'm sure Hussein will love a cut of that. I'm kidding, of course, but yeah, great suggestion from
No,
Hussein there. We
no,
really appreciate that,
awesome
brother.
question. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Hussein. Well, let's jump into the next one I've got here, which is going to be from Alora, and they want to know a bit more about accessibility for non-English speaking communities, in terms of how accessible will the game be for people who don't primarily speak English, such as Spanish-speaking communities, or even we know crypto is very popular in China and
Hmm.
India and Southeast Asia. Will you be developing translations for the UI that will make that game more accessible to those communities?
That's something we actually have been already discussing with our game devs, and that's something that we do plan on trying to implement in there. We actually already do have a huge Turkish community. We have an amazing team that's running that for us, Class Crypto, and we already have, I think, close to 800 or 900 people just in our Turkish community, in our SoCal group. So we definitely are aware of the other languages, and we don't want to provide any barriers that would stop someone else from being able to utilize and take advantage of that. So that's 100% something that we're going to be looking at implementing into the game.
Okay, yeah, fantastic to see. And the more accessible it is, the more outreach you guys are going to have, the bigger user base you
Yeah,
guys get.
exactly.
Definitely
100%.
a great point to implement there. But yeah, appreciate the
Thank
question
you
there,
for your
Olivia.
question. Yeah.
Great. So let's roll through straight to the next one because I think this is an important one. This comes from Akshaj, and he wants to know if you guys have the ability within the contract to change and alter the tax, and if that's something you guys might implement later down the line.
We do. We do have the ability to change it. It was set as standard. Can't be changed above 25. We will not be changing the tax up. The only reason that we would be changing the tax would be down the road if we were looking to get listed on Binance.
Hmm.
Hopefully, once we get to that metaverse project and the ecosystem is self-supporting, we can look at removing taxes. So the only way that taxes would be being removed is or being adjusted is if they were being removed.
Okay,
We're
fantastic.
not
Yeah.
we're not we're not going to be one of those companies who first 2 weeks sell taxes 25%. Like
Hmm.
we want investors to be able to have control of their money. There's not going to be any backhanded or
Yeah.
surprises that you get. Like our taxes are set where they're at, and that's where they're going to be at. People own
Yeah.
those tokens. They're theirs to do what they want with, and we don't want to impede anyone that feels that they need to sell. That's their right to sell. This is crypto. Everyone's here to make money. People are going to take profits. And we just hope that we're bringing an amazing enough project that, everyone's going to want to stay with us. And we have full confidence that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, fantastic. And like you mentioned, I've seen it so many times where first 24-hour period, double the sell tax, and all you do is you wait. All you're doing is avoiding a massive sell-off volume until you hit it right at the last second, and then the
Usually
impending
when you
dump
see
comes.
that, it's the team rugging you while that's happening.
100%. Yeah, and exempting
And
wallets
that's
while it's a high tax. Yeah.
yeah, that's just there's nothing like that going on. Oh, another thing I want to touch on, actually, we forgot is we already have our contract audited by Interfi.
Oh,
Interfi
fantastic.
audited our contract, and we received a score of 91 on that audit. So we got a really, really high score on that. We are KYC'd with Pink Sale and Coin Sniper. We're fully doxed. Obviously, now we have a corporation. All of that's public information that can be looked up online by anyone. And beyond that, we do plan on getting our contracts audited again by CERDIT right after launch, and we will probably be conducting another KYC with CERDIT as well. So just to give
Amazing.
even that further layer of security and comfort to everybody.
Yeah, 100%. I think alongside the LLC, that just adds that extra layer of, again, that accountability and trust for investors coming into the token. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, let's just take a couple more here because I am conscious we just gone over the hour, but there's loads of good questions here. So the next one I do want to take is a nice simple one from Ragnar, and it's just wondering if you guys have any plans in the future to kind of explore other chains, maybe expand from the BSC, or even implement a cross chain where we could see you guys or the NFTs available on ETH or any other of the altcoins that are emerging right now.
I don't want to release too much information, but I can tell you that Daniel and I are a big fan of waiting for ETH V2 to come out. So I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% in agreement for you. It's what's kept me holding from 4K to 1K. But yeah, that's a whole other bag of apples we could jump into.
Once they get those taxes sorted out and the gas fees are down, I can tell you that we're big fans of ETH V2 whenever it's released.
That fantastic. A little bit of tidbit, maybe some sneak peek information exclusive for the Future Lounge, which we love to get. So appreciate the question, Ragnar. Fantastic. Well, I think the last question I do want to take is from Bumpface, and he touched on the fact that when it comes to desktop versions of games, they can be very appealing. You know, they're optimized for desktop, but when it comes to the mobile version, we see a complete drop in the quality, not only visually, but for the sound effects and every other aspect of the game. So do you want to draw on some of the benefits for you guys choosing 16-bit and how that will affect the quality crossover from desktop to the mobile platforms?
That actually gives you the ability to give almost a seamless transfer. We're going to be using Unity to have the game developed, which is awesome because I'm not sure how familiar people are with Unity, but it's kind of two different plugins. So you don't have to design 3 different versions of the game. The software within Unity almost does that for you. So you design the game and it has with the plugins in it where it's going to give you an iOS version, an App Store version, a Web3 version. So the games are going to be seamlessly the same. And because of the graphic structure of it, you're really not going to see that big of a difference on the web version as opposed to the iOS version or the Play Store version. We're pretty confident that they're going to be, obviously you can't say 100% the same just because of the compatibility of how, the software and hardware works on them, but they're going to look very, very similar.
Fantastic.
And have very, very similar functionality.
Yeah, fantastic to see. And I think such a massive part of the GameFi space right now, and the games industry space that people neglect, is the fact that the mobile platform is where all the volume is, in terms of that's the biggest market for games and for GameFi projects. So definitely great to ensure that the quality's still there and you guys are really focusing on getting those implemented down the line.
Absolutely. I mean, you walk around and you see there's tons of people that play games on their computers, right? But go look at any Starbucks, go look at any restaurant. Literally stop and take a look around you and count how many people that don't have a phone in their face, right? Like, you literally go in there and stop and look around, and I would say at least 90 to 95% of people have a cell phone in their hand. So that just really touches on how important it is to deliver a good product through those platforms. And that's something that we are aware of and that is important to us to deliver.
100%. And in terms of accessibility now, data plans have become way more widely available in other developing parts of the world as well. So people's main entry in terms of accessibility to these sorts of games is through mobile, especially in Asia, Southeast Asia, India, South America. So many people just playing games on their phones.
Right.
Because not everyone can afford a high-end gaming PC, so it's definitely the best market to target here. Well, fantastic. I think we've covered a very broad range of questions. There were some questions that asked that I unfortunately had to skip, as I either felt they would take about 20 to 30 minutes of an explanation, or it's something we've already covered in the AMA. So I will highlight to those people. Just make sure you go check out the recording once we release it. And if you have any further questions for Robert or any of the SoCal team, please go ahead and check out their Telegram. I'll go ahead and post all the links again here. so you guys can join, ask any of your questions and concerns. I'm sure, like I mentioned, Robert or the rest of the team will be more than happy to help and address it. But while we come into the final moments of the AMA, Robert, I just want to hand the mic back to you. Let the people know where they can go to get invested and the key dates coming out for us.
Absolutely. And just on the questions that weren't able to be answered, like I said, our VC is open 24/7. So feel free to come over to our Telegram group. Like I said, we're an open book. It's hugely important to us to provide that transparency to our investors. We actually welcome hard questions. So any questions that you want to ask, any concerns that you have, please do come over to our Telegram group, talk with one of our core members, get with one of our mods. They will get the questions to us. We will get the answers that you need. I just want to thank everyone for spending the time to come here and listen to this presentation. Again, I'm glad that we've had the opportunity to share this with you guys. We want to get this out to as many people as we can. We think that we're going to be able to do something special here in this space. We think we're going to be able to bring a lot of new users to this space. And that's something that's going to benefit everybody. The more people that we can get involved in this space and educated in this space, it benefits all of us. It's not just about me or my team or this project. It's about the entire space and making it a better place. And I think this project is going to be able to contribute to that end game quite a bit. So again, I just want to thank all you guys. Our pre-sale tomorrow is going to be held at Pink Sale. It begins at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 20 UTC. It's a whitelist only. Now, that pre-sale, unfortunately, it's gonna sell out in probably 5 to 6 seconds. So, if you're on the whitelist, you need to get queued up and be pretty fast to get in there. But if not, we're gonna launch an hour after that. We do welcome everybody. Please come over, check out our Telegram, our Twitter, all of our other spaces. And again, thank you guys all for coming and listening.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. Thank you again for coming in and choosing the Future Lantry AMA and letting us know about your wonderful project here. Yeah, we really appreciate it. And like I mentioned, definitely going to want you back as soon as the game's out and we have the Caliverse in development. I'll definitely want you back so we can get into a few more details about that. But in the meantime, best of luck with the pre-sale and the launch tomorrow, brother. I know it's going to be a busy one for you. I always say having a new project is like having a kid. You're probably not going to get a lot of sleep and it's going to be relentless work, but it will definitely be worth it in the long run for sure. So yeah, really appreciate it and best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you guys.